When I look at life, I realize one truth: real strength never comes from comfort. Nations that learn to face challenges with courage are the ones that write history. And today, I want to speak to you, the youth, the true future of this country. Our topic is simple yet powerful: youth on fire, turning struggles into strength. Inside every young person, there is a fire. But the question is, do you let that fire burn you down? Or do you turn it into a light that guides your path? Struggles are not meant to break you. Struggles are meant to make you. And when the youth learns how to transform pain into power, then no force in the world can stop them. Such struggles are the fuel that ignite true potential, and this is a reality that every young person must understand deep inside. When life puts you through challenges, when doors close, when opportunities seem far away, it is not a sign of weakness. It is the very moment where your inner fire is being tested. Too often we see youth who want everything fast and easy. But the truth is that without struggles, without setbacks, no one discovers what they are truly capable of. Just imagine if every goal was handed to you without effort, if every dream was achieved without resistance, there would be no growth, no strength, no story to tell. It is the very weight of your challenges that builds the muscles of your character. When you are denied something you thought you deserved, when people doubt you, when you fail despite your hard work, that is when life is handing you the material to build greatness. Every person who has achieved something extraordinary has walked through a fire of struggle. Whether it is a leader, an innovator, or a change maker, all of them were once ordinary people facing extraordinary difficulties. The difference is that instead of being crushed by the pressure, they used it to rise. When the youth embraces this idea, they stop looking at struggle as a punishment and start seeing it as preparation. Each difficulty you face is sharpening your mind, strengthening your willpower, and forcing you to discover new ways of pushing forward. Struggles are the teachers that no book can replace. They teach lessons that last a lifetime. Think about it. If you never fall, how will you ever learn how to rise? If you never taste defeat, how will you ever know the sweetness of victory? Struggles are not there to stop you. They are there to ignite the hidden potential inside you, the kind of potential that even you don't know exists until it is tested. The youth who understands this will never fear difficulties because they know each challenge is secretly a gift. It is in those sleepless nights, in those moments of doubt, in those days of failure, when you are building the foundation of your strength. And later, when you succeed, people will admire you, but they will never understand the pain you went through. They will see the glory, but not the grind. What makes the youth powerful is not their age, not just their energy, but their ability to endure struggle with courage and turn it into strength. Struggles are like fire. They can burn you down, or they can refine you into pure gold. The choice is always yours. If you run away from hardship, you will always remain weak. But if you face it, embrace it, and fight through it, you will emerge unstoppable. Struggles create leaders. Struggles create visionaries. Struggles create those who change history. And for the youth, every single difficulty is an invitation to rise higher, to unleash the fire inside, and to prove that they are not ordinary, they are destined for something greater. Failure is not the end, it's the beginning of strength. When a young person falls short of their goals, the first feeling is often disappointment, sometimes shame, sometimes even hopelessness. But what is often unseen in that moment is that failure is the hidden doorway to greatness. Failure strips away the illusion of perfection and forces you to confront your weaknesses, your mistakes, your blind spots. It is only when you know where you are weak that you can become strong. Many of the most successful people in history, the ones we admire, the ones who inspire us, were once people who failed, sometimes repeatedly, sometimes in ways that looked final to the world around them. But they refused to treat failure as an end. They treated it as a beginning, as an essential chapter of their journey. Failure has a way of humbling you, of reminding you that effort alone is not enough, that growth requires patience, adjustment, resilience. Youth often believe that passion and hard work will guarantee instant results, but failure teaches the deeper truth. Progress comes in cycles of trying, falling, learning, and rising. It is in those cycles that strength is built. Every failure pushes you to think differently, to approach problems with more wisdom, to sharpen your focus, to discipline your actions. Without failure, there would be no resilience. Without failure, there would be no wisdom. Without failure, strength would be nothing more than a word. For the youth, failure can feel heavier because they are just starting their journeys. The world around them may pressure them to succeed quickly, to prove themselves, to achieve without delay. But this pressure often hides the reality that failure is not proof of weakness. It is proof that you are trying, that you are moving, that you are in the arena instead of sitting on the sidelines. A life without failure is a life without risk, and a life without risk is a life without growth. If you never step beyond your comfort zone, if you never attempt something bold enough to risk failure, you will remain where you are. But when you fail, you are already ahead of those who never tried, because you have knowledge they will never gain. Failure is not final, it is formative. It forms character, it forms courage, it forms the mindset of perseverance. The youth who embrace failure as a teacher rather than an enemy develop an inner strength, that cannot be broken by setbacks. They learn not to fear mistakes, but to use them as stepping stones. They discover that every time they fall and rise again, they become tougher, more determined, more capable. It is this resilience that separates those who only dream from those who actually achieve. Strength does not come from avoiding failure. It comes from facing it, learning from it, and refusing to give up. When failure arrives, the natural instinct is to see it as the end of the road. But in reality, it is the beginning of a new path. Every failure contains lessons that no success can teach. Success can be blinding, but failure opens your eyes. It teaches you patience. It forces you to reassess your goals. It makes you discover reserves of courage you never knew you had. And once you begin to see failure as the beginning of strength, you stop fearing it, you stop hiding from it, and you start using it as fuel for your journey. That is when the youth truly come alive, because they realize they are not defined by how many times they fall, but by how many times they rise stronger than before. Every obstacle carries a hidden opportunity. And this is a truth that most people only realize much later in their lives. But if the youth can understand it early, it can completely change the way they approach challenges. At first, an obstacle looks like a barrier, something standing between you and your goal. It frustrates you, it slows you down, it makes you question yourself. Yet, beneath every obstacle, there lies a lesson, a chance to grow, a door to a new path that you may never have discovered without it. Obstacles are not meant to paralyze you. They are meant to push you into discovering strength, creativity, and determination that would otherwise remain hidden. Think about history and the people who changed the world. None of them had smooth journeys. They faced rejection, resistance, and countless obstacles. What made them extraordinary was not that they were free from challenges, but that they learned how to see opportunities inside them. When others complained and gave up, they asked themselves, what is this obstacle trying to teach me? How can I turn this into an advantage? How can I use this resistance as fuel? This shift in perspective is what transforms an ordinary youth into someone capable of creating real impact. Obstacles are like teachers in disguise. They force you to slow down and think deeper. They expose the weaknesses in your plans and strategies, giving you a chance to improve. They test your patience and discipline, qualities that are essential for lasting success. And most importantly, they remind you that the path to greatness will never be easy, that every reward is earned through persistence. The youth who sees obstacles as opportunities develops a mindset of growth rather than defeat. Instead of asking, why me? They begin to ask, what can I learn? What can I build from this? That small change in thinking makes a massive difference in results. Every obstacle you face is also an opportunity to stand out. Because when challenges arrive, most people step back, but the few who step forward are the ones who shine. If you are in a group and everyone faces the same difficulty, the person who stays calm, who searches for solutions, who keeps moving despite the resistance, that person naturally becomes a leader. Obstacles create leaders because they create situations where courage and persistence are tested. The youth who accept this reality will not run from difficulties, but run into them, knowing that every struggle is secretly shaping them for something greater. There is also another hidden gift inside obstacles. They force you to innovate. When the straight path is blocked, you are pushed to find another way, a smarter way, a new way. Many of the greatest inventions, ideas, and movements were born not out of comfort but out of struggle, when people had no choice but to think differently. For the youth, every blocked road is a chance to build creativity, to challenge assumptions, to discover new skills. In this sense, obstacles are not barriers but bridges, guiding you to places you might never have gone if life had been too easy. The youth must realize that every difficulty faced today is preparing them for the future. Every setback is sharpening them. Every rejection is redirecting them. Every obstacle is planting the seeds of resilience. When you carry this mindset, you stop fearing the hurdles in your journey. Instead, you begin to welcome them as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. You realize that obstacles are not signs of failure. They are signs that you are on a meaningful path, that you are moving forward, that you are in the process of building something worth fighting for. And the more obstacles you learn to turn into opportunities, the more unstoppable you become. Pain shapes resilience. Resilience builds leaders. This is a reality that every young person needs to embrace if they want to rise above the ordinary. Pain is not something to be avoided or feared. It is the very process through which strength is created. When life puts you through hardship, when you experience loss, rejection, or disappointment, it feels unbearable in that moment. But in truth, that very pain is shaping you into someone stronger than you were before. It is carving out the weakness, teaching you endurance, and forcing you to adapt. Just as muscles only grow after being torn and rebuilt, character only grows after enduring pain and rising again. Resilience is born when you go through pain and refuse to give up. It is the ability to keep moving even when everything inside you wants to stop. Youth often dream of success, recognition, and greatness. But what they forget is that leaders are not born in comfort zones. They are born in the fires of struggle. Every leader that people admire has a history of pain. It may have been personal struggles, financial hardships, rejection from society, or countless failures. But through it all, They developed resilience, and it was that resilience which gave them the ability to carry the weight of leadership. Pain is a teacher unlike any other. It strips away illusions and reveals who you really are. When you are tested by pain, you learn the depth of your patience, the extent of your courage, and the strength of your spirit. Without pain, you can never know what you are truly capable of. Youth often want the path to be smooth, but a smooth path creates weak travelers. It is the rough and difficult road that produces those who are ready to lead. Pain shapes resilience by training you to recover quickly, to adapt to challenges, to never be broken permanently. Every time you are knocked down by pain and rise again, you build resilience like a shield that grows stronger with every hit. Resilience is what separates those who quit from those who rise. When others stop because it hurts too much, resilience whispers to you that you can endure, that you can go further, that the pain will one day turn into pride. The youth who carry resilience become unstoppable because no matter how many times they are pushed back, they find the strength to move forward. This quality does not just make you strong for yourself, it makes you strong for others. People naturally look up to those who can endure hardship without losing hope. And that is the beginning of leadership. Leaders are those who carry not only their own burdens, but also inspire others to carry theirs. When youth experience pain, it often feels unfair, as if the world is against them. But every great leader once felt the same. The difference is that they used their pain as a source of power instead of weakness. They turned their scars into lessons and their struggles into stories that inspired millions. Pain teaches you empathy. It allows you to connect with others on a human level because you understand suffering not in theory, but in reality. And empathy is what makes leadership real, because people follow those who truly understand them. The process is simple but powerful. Pain creates resilience. Resilience builds leaders. The youth who understand this truth will not run from pain. They will embrace it. They will see every difficulty not as the end, but as training for their destiny. And in this training, resilience becomes their greatest weapon, a force that prepares them to stand tall in storms, to lead in chaos, to shine when others give up. Every leader's story is a testimony that without pain, there is no resilience. And without resilience, there is no true leadership. Youth with vision can turn trials into triumphs because vision is the light that makes sense of the darkness of struggle. When you have a clear picture of where you want to go, the difficulties on the way stop being reasons to quit and start becoming stepping stones to reach higher ground. A young person without vision will see trials as punishment, but a young person with vision will see them as preparation. Vision gives meaning to pain, direction to effort, and purpose to every sacrifice. It is the compass that keeps you moving forward, even when the storm is heavy. And it is the fire that reminds you why you started in the first place. Every trial in life is temporary, but vision is what makes it worthwhile. When you go through rejection, failure, or setbacks, vision tells you that this is not the end of the story. This is simply one chapter that will lead to a greater ending. Without vision, a setback feels like a dead end, but with vision it becomes a detour that leads to growth. Youth must understand that trials are not there to destroy them, but to strengthen their focus, to test how much they truly believe in their dreams. Vision is what separates those who are broken by trials from those who use them as fuel to rise higher. Trials are the reality of every great achievement. No leader, no innovator, no champion ever reached their destiny without walking through fire. The difference lies in their ability to see beyond the trial, to keep their eyes fixed on the vision, even when circumstances are against them. When a young person builds this mindset, they discover that no trial is wasted. Every pain becomes part of the story. Every setback becomes part of the foundation. Every challenge becomes part of the testimony of triumph. Vision allows you to transform bitterness into wisdom, tears into strength, and failures into lessons that prepare you for victory. The power of vision is that it gives trials a new meaning. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is this preparing me for?" That shift alone changes everything. It takes you from victim to fighter, from hopeless to hopeful, from weak to unstoppable. Youth who hold on to vision will not collapse under trials because they know that their destination is greater than the pain of the present. They understand that the fire they walk through is only refining them for the greatness ahead. Vision also provides endurance. When the journey is long and filled with obstacles, only vision can keep you moving. Motivation may fade, energy may weaken, but vision will remind you of the bigger picture. It whispers that the trial is temporary, but the triumph will last forever. And when youth learn to endure, to stand firm through storms, they become examples for others to follow. That is how movements are born. That is how nations rise. That is how history is written, by youth who refuse to let trials define them, because their vision was stronger than their struggles. Trials are not signals to stop. They are tests of how badly you want what you dream of. If your vision is shallow, you will give up easily. But if your vision is deep, you will endure everything thrown your way. That is why the youth must build a vision bigger than themselves, a vision that keeps them alive even when everything else tries to kill their spirit. With that vision, every trial becomes a step closer to triumph. With that vision, every struggle becomes a story of strength. With that vision, No matter how heavy the road, the destination will always be worth it. Strength is born when you refuse to quit, because quitting is the only action that guarantees defeat, while persistence keeps the door of possibility open. Every young person must understand that talent, intelligence, and opportunity may all be important, but nothing compares to the power of not giving up. The world is full of stories of people who seemed average, who had no extraordinary resources, who were even underestimated, but they achieved greatness simply because they refused to quit. Refusal to quit is not just stubbornness. It is the belief that no matter how tough the road, no matter how many failures or rejections come your way, there is always another chance as long as you keep moving. Strength does not come from easy victories. It comes from battles that test your limits and force you to dig deep into reserves you did not even know you had. When a young person faces difficulty and decides to keep going despite exhaustion, despite doubt, despite fear, that is the moment strength is born. Quitting is easy. Anyone can walk away when the struggle becomes uncomfortable. But to stay, to endure, to fight when everything tells you to stop, that is where real character is forged. The strongest individuals are not those who never fall, but those who fall 100 times and still rise again with determination in their eyes. Refusing to quit is a mindset, and once you adopt it, it changes everything about the way you live. You stop measuring progress only by results, and you start valuing effort, resilience, and persistence. Even when you fail, you see it as a step forward because you know you are still in the game while others have walked away. The youth who carry this mindset become unstoppable because nothing can break someone who refuses to quit. They may get delayed, they may stumble, but they will never be defeated as long as they keep rising. Strength born out of persistence also inspires others. When people see someone who keeps fighting despite the odds, they are moved to believe that they too can endure. Leaders are not created by easy success. Leaders are created by refusing to quit in the face of overwhelming challenges. This resilience becomes contagious. It spreads hope. It creates a culture where giving up is no longer an option. The youth who stand tall despite failures become symbols of hope for others. And that is how movements of change are built. There is also a hidden power in persistence. It teaches patience. When you refuse to quit, you learn that results may not come quickly, that growth takes time, that success demands endurance. This patience becomes a strength in itself because it teaches you to keep sowing even when the harvest is delayed. Many give up just before the breakthrough, not realizing that success was one more step away. But the youth who persist, who refuse to walk away, discover that persistence always pays off, even if not immediately, even if not in the way they first imagined. Strength is not given, it is built. And the building process requires struggle, pain, and persistence. Every time you decide not to quit, you add another layer of strength to your character. Every time you face rejection and continue anyway, you grow stronger. Every time you fail and still rise again, you are proving that nothing can break your spirit. Over time, this refusal to quit becomes the very foundation of unshakable strength. And when the youth understand this truth, they stop fearing failure, they stop fearing obstacles, they stop fearing setbacks, because they know that strength is not about avoiding struggles, but about never surrendering to them. When we look at the journey of life, especially for the youth, one truth becomes clear. Greatness is not built in comfort, it is forged in fire. Struggles are not your enemy, they are the very fuel that ignites your hidden potential. Failure does not signal the end, it is the beginning of a deeper strength that teaches you resilience and patience. Every obstacle you face carries within it a hidden opportunity waiting for you to uncover it. Pain may feel unbearable in the moment, but it is the very force shaping your resilience. And resilience is what gives birth to leaders who stand tall when others collapse. Youth with vision are the ones who transform trials into triumphs, because vision allows you to see beyond the storm and recognize that every hardship has a purpose. It gives you endurance when motivation fades. It keeps you steady when the world doubts you, and it makes you realize that setbacks are not dead ends, but detours leading you towards something greater. And above all, real strength is born when you simply refuse to quit. No matter how heavy the burden, no matter how many times you fall, refusing to give up creates a strength inside you that nothing in the world can defeat. The message is simply, your struggles are not here to break you, they are here to build you. Your failures are not meant to define you, they are meant to refine you. Your obstacles are not barriers, they are bridges to new opportunities. Your pain is not punishment, it is preparation. Your vision is not just a dream, it is a force that can turn every trial into a triumph. And your persistence, your refusal to quit, is what will make you unstoppable. The youth of today stand at a critical moment in history. The challenges you face are real, the struggles are heavy, but so is the fire within you. If you choose to embrace that fire, if you choose to turn every struggle into strength, then there is no limit to what you can achieve. The world does not need youth who run from difficulties. The world needs youth who rise from them. And if you rise, if you endure, if you refuse to quit, then your story will not just be about survival. It will be about transformation, triumph, and leadership that inspires generations to come.